Tara. I'm Denny Hovious, and my dog Max and I are with Therapy Dog International. He is a therapy dog that's been visiting for over 10 years.
Wow, that's pretty amazing. So we got Denny and Max. Who are you?
I'm Shannon Baker with the American Lung Association in Kentucky.
Oh, wonderful. Well, we're so glad to have you with us. And what I'd like to do is encourage everybody to type us in. Go ahead and ask questions or make comments about either the beautiful and talented Max or about Denny, who is the other partner of the Denny and Max therapy team. Or we're going to be talking to Shannon about something called Lung Force, which is really exciting. Denny's very much a part of the American Lung Association too. And then coming up at 4 o'clock. So at 5 o'clock, we're going to have a lovely young woman who I've known for many years, and her name is Jessica Loving. She's a PR maven in Louisville. She has political experience. She worked in the administration of John Y. Brown, and she's just amazing. She's a super fundraiser, and everybody knows her, and you're going to get to know her if you already don't today. So right here on Take It From Tara, you're going to have a whole lot of really fun people and a lot of great information to take with you throughout the day. So while I am looking for my own page so I can monitor this live cast on Facebook, Denny, tell me a little bit about Max and how you got him doing what he's doing right now. I'd like to know more about Therapy Dogs International.
Well, when I got Max, I knew right away I wanted to do therapy with him.
Yes.
And he was only 7 weeks old, and I called actually I just knew her from running a kennel and doing classes, behavior classes for dogs. And I called her and I said that I just got a 7-week-old puppy. And she said, bring him in tonight for training.
Awesome.
And I said, well, Sharon, I can't do that. He's only 7 weeks old. And she said, yes, you can. So that started his training.
Can't start too early, right?
No.
Because he's well trained now.
Yeah.
He looks so upset and nervous.
He is alive. I may have to stick a mirror under his nose to make sure he's alive.
Is he breathing?
Are you breathing?
He's adorable. Hey, Mary Kay Corfage, thanks for tuning in today. One of our best animal advocates in the city.
Wonderful.
I love her so much.
Wonderful.
So 7 weeks old, and how old is Max now?
So he's 11 years old. He was 11 in February. So at 7 weeks old, he started the training, and he went through the beginning class, intermediate, advanced, and then the canine good citizen, and then the therapy dog class.
I love that.
And then
That's
he
amazing.
was tested, and we were tested through Therapy Dog International, and we've been visiting since. And with Therapy Dog International, we can visit anywhere in the world.
Wow.
So that
Hence
was
the
very
name
cool.
International.
right. Yeah.
There you have it.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I tell you what, when you get a dog who's 7 weeks old and he grows to be a dog this size, are there any kind of accommodations that you have to make for him as far as places that he can and can't fit into?
None.
None.
As far as
Anywhere.
visiting facilities,
Yeah.
none.
Isn't that
None.
amazing?
He's able to go everywhere. And even now when I take him in, we were at Norton Hospital the other day, and he got in bed with one of the patients and stayed there for 30 minutes, and I couldn't get him out.
I've seen posts of him doing things like that.
He got over on his back, and he wouldn't even, little stinker. But no, you can take him anywhere. No size, specifications
Oh, isn't that
or
fabulous?
whatnot. And he goes to his nursing home, and one of his favorite people is Ray Spalding, our U of L Ray Spalding.
yes.
It's his grandma.
Aw,
Yeah.
that's
So, and
cool.
Grandma Barbara, she idolizes Max. I mean, she just idolizes him. She said, maybe I shouldn't say this, but
It's okay.
she said he's the only man that she'll get in bed with.
It's just between us. You can say anything.
Nobody else is listening. Nobody's listening except Catherine Ziegler in Florida. She says, what a sweet pup.
Oh, well,
Yes,
thank you.
He is, Kat, and it's so nice to see you pop up. So when you take a dog to a hospital or nursing home, and it's very important that we clarify this, Max has been through a whole lot of training.
Yeah.
And unless you have permission from a facility such as the ones that Denny and Max go
Right.
to, it's not a good idea to just walk in there with your
No.
sweet
Here,
little
pup.
calm dog and say, I think that she needs to climb into bed with that lady because it'll make her feel better.
No.
I
There's a
have
lot
that
of-
dog at my house that should not do those things.
all three of mine would go climb into bed with the lady, but only one of them is therapy certified. So
Yeah.
tell us about exactly what is required of a
Well,
dog
all of
to
the
be able to get that certification.
The canine citizen, if you remember that,
Yes.
sit, stay, come, leave it, those basic rules
Yes.
They have to do that, and then in addition to when they start testing him, they'll come around with numbers of people and crowd around him to make sure he can handle the crowd.
Yes.
And they'll take walkers and canes and pound him on the floor, drop books on the floor, drop food all over the floor. And that was the scary one because I thought, oh my gosh. I made sure I walked him past that real fast. And the one thing neat about Therapy Dog International is they test you in a group. So there were 23 dogs that were tested when Max was tested.
And that makes him look even better, especially
Yeah.
if they're badly behaved.
But all but one passed, which was so
Nice.
neat.
And the one was eating the food?
No, he barked. He started barking at one of the other dogs.
No.
Yeah, you can't do that.
Not acceptable.
Yeah.
Does he make any noise? Does he bark
Oh
at home?
yeah,
Does
he barks
bark
at home.
Squirrels?
No, he didn't bark at squirrels. He'll bark when the other two dogs are barking. But he's never barked in a facility. He's never,
So I was going to say, he knows when to turn it off,
right, definitely.
is what you're saying.
Yeah.
Good job, Max.
And
You're
they
a very
need-
smart boy.
He said yes. He was even invited to a funeral one time. One of the very first ladies that we visited, I was thinking Isabel, but that wasn't her name. I can't remember, this was 11 years ago. Since then she has passed. But when she died, the family asked if I would bring Max because she was just in love with Max. So I took him into the funeral home, and he went over to the casket and he put his paws up on the casket like he wanted to get in.
Oh my.
Because he was used to getting in bed with her.
Oh my God, that's just a
And my
heartbreak.
heart
Yeah,
just
it
broke.
is.
Oh my God, and Rebecca Eves from the Aero Fund is watching us.
Oh, wonderful.
So is Pat Hillary. We appreciate that. Eric Cooper from UPS. And Rebecca, I hope you're feeling better. She has an upper respiratory infection. She was not feeling good yesterday.
Us going around.
But she just keeps going, you know.
One of the organizations, when my husband passed away, hence the involvement with Lung Association, contributions we put in there were to the Aero Fund.
Yes, thank you.
One of
for
the
that.
three, yeah.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
So we're just going to kind of go back and forth, if you don't mind. We'll just kind of, you know, because I like to just kind of flow with the wind and the fountain and the signage and whatever else we've got going here. There are going to be people who are going to come pouring in here because this is such a beautiful day. The patio's been open for, you know, about a week basically, but it's been raining, so they haven't been able to get people out here as much.
Right.
And Saturday, Thunder Over Louisville weather was great.
Yeah.
But it's just kind of been a washout since. So people will be pouring in here, and I'm expecting Max to remain prone.
Settle down, Max.
But what we want to talk about is, at this moment, Denny's husband was what introduced Denny to you.
Yes.
So tell me just a little bit, if you will, about the American Lung Association, and then we'll get into the whole discussion about Lung Force. But I'd like to know, in general, what are the things that you can do to help people who have lung disease?
So the American Lung Association is the nation's oldest health-related, volunteer-based nonprofit.
Did you know that?
No, I didn't know that.
Originally formed to combat tuberculosis.
Okay.
And so now our mission is much broader, all lung disease and clean air as well.
Wow.
Arguably the greatest mission of any health-related nonprofit when you take all of those things combined. Now, Lung Force, the campaign that is featured on the sign next to you, is a newer campaign. It is a signature nationwide campaign in its 5th year, specifically targeting lung cancer.
Okay.
Because lung cancer is the #1 cancer killer
Of women.
in both men and women.
Oh, wow. Isn't that amazing?
But it's on the rise in women and has been for so many years. We have tons of work to do to raise awareness around that. Less than 5% of women know that lung cancer is their #1 cancer killer. They would say breast cancer, ovarian,
Yes.
uterine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that means that lung cancer isn't even on their health radar.
So did you guys know that? I'd like to know how many people who are watching today actually knew that lung cancer is the #1 cancer killer of men and women. And I find that fascinating, and especially in terms of two of the people who were probably the biggest and most notable people who passed away from lung cancer, Chris and Dana Reeves, right?
Right.
Oh, that's right.
And neither of them were smokers.
Right.
She at least had never smoked in her life.
You raise such an important point because there is that stigma, and the truth of the matter is you never need to have smoked a day in your life to get lung
Catherine
cancer.
said, had no idea.
Right.
No idea. And
Right.
you'd always think, and she has Agent Orange second generation. So she's had a ton of things go wrong with her body.
Oh my.
And she's very body aware. But that's just one of those things that you really don't think too much about.
Right. And part of the problem is people think that lung cancer is caused by smoking. And so if I didn't smoke, I won't get lung cancer.
Yeah.
All you need to get lung cancer is lungs. That's the sad truth. It can be the air you breathe, and we live in an area with extremely poor air quality, right?
Yeah.
It can be your genetics, any number of things. And so we are working very hard to raise awareness around the importance of early detection.
Okay.
The second really big problem with lung cancer is it's asymptomatic.
You just don't even know you have it.
You don't know you have it until it's advanced, and then it's difficult.
Yeah.
And so early detection is critically important.
Okay, so there's Max. He's looking at the people who are coming in, and there's an airplane going over, and this is so exciting. The most important thing that I'd like to get to is, you said asymptomatic, you said early detection. How in the world do you find out whether you have lung cancer?
I love that you asked that question.
Well, I'll ask you a lot of good questions, and I'm going to also answer some questions from folks who are watching us today. Ron Zender, Byron Hutchins, James Green, all with us. Shannon Liebegot just came in. Martha Bloom. Hi, Martha. Give Jerry Bloom my love. Jerry Bloom is a good friend of ours who has Parkinson's disease, and we were just talking to him last week down at another wonderful place called Gordon Biersch in Theater Square. And he is one of the voices of News Radio 840, WHAS. So
yeah.
he lives with Parkinson's and is doing amazingly well. But man, it's like these diseases, and I love to talk to nonprofits that are involved in healthcare, because what you guys do is so important. And I work in mental health, so it's the same thing. What we do is so important to the body, from the brain all the way down to our toes.
Right.
So, early detection. Explain that to us in terms of lung cancer.
And so you can go to lung.org literally anytime and take an online screening, and that will tell you if you are a candidate for early detection.
Okay.
Early detection comes in the form of a low-dose CT scan.
Okay.
And let me tell you a couple of stories locally. I bet, Tara, you know Kathy Zion.
I do. You said lung.org?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
And so Kathy lost her mother to lung cancer a number of years ago. And so she decided that it would be very important for her to have that lung scan done. And she went to her doctor for a routine physical, if I recall the story correctly, and asked to have the scan. And there was a little bit of conversation back and forth about whether or not that was appropriate, and ultimately she had the scan, and they found lung cancer early. And they addressed
so
it.
Like a tomography or CAT scan or MRI?
It is a CT scan.
CT scan, okay.
And
And
so her insistence too, when the doctor real resistant
Well,
to it initially.
as I recall, his initial reaction was that, Kathy, you don't need that.
Yeah.
And then she said, well, I kind of would like to have that anyway. And he said, well, your insurance doesn't cover it, but nowadays more and more insurance companies do cover it. But then she said, and so how much are we talking? And it was less than $100, right, Denny? Isn't that what you remember?
That's amazing.
And so she said, let's do it.
Yeah.
And they found the lung cancer. Wait, the story gets better. Her brother came to stay with her during the time she was recovering.
Yes.
And she said, you know what? When you get home to Chicago, we have that same gene pool. You have the scan done for me, please. And they found it early.
Wow.
Okay, fast forward.
Yeah.
Learning what she learned, she regularly talks about in an ad in her magazine the importance of that early detection low-dose CT scan.
Yes.
And a gentleman named Steve Tong was recently married. He works at Papa John's, was recently married. His wife and mother saw an ad in Kathy's magazine and said,
Just today's woman.
Steve,
Yeah.
thank you. You probably should have this scan done. Oh, no, I don't need to have the scan done, and I've got a business trip scheduled. And Mom and new wife made the appointment for him.
Oh, my.
Took him to the doctor. The doctor calls him back in after the scan and says, Steve, I understand you have a business trip scheduled. You'll need to cancel that.
Oh, wow.
Early detection
Yep.
saved his life. Those are 3 stories right here, right now.
That's incredible. Okay, here's what we're going to do. Shannon Leva got great topic to cover, so that's good that we're getting to some people. Okay, here's the lung.org test. If you want to take it with me, pull out your cell phone,
good idea.
lung.org, simple questions. I'll give them a second to do that because this says lung cancer screening can save your life. Screening is the key to early detection. When lung cancer is diagnosed at an early stage, it is more likely to be curable. Take the quiz. So that's what we're going to do together. I bet you Catherine's going to pull out her phone. She loves cell phones. Are you on Medicare? No, but I'm close. Are you between the ages of 55 and 80? As much as I hate to admit it, yes. Have you smoked in the last 15 years? Also hate to admit it, yes. Calculate how many pack years you have smoked. Oh my God. I don't think I can do that. A pack year is an estimation of the amount you smoked. So if you smoked 20 cigarettes a day for 30 years, your pack years equal 30. Or if you smoked 1.5 packs a day for 30 years, your pack years equal 45. Okay, I will put in years you smoked. I don't know. I'm not going to tell you. This is confidential information. Oh, good. You currently do not meet the guidelines for low-dose CT screening. I said 20 years a pack a day is what my numbers were. So, you know, it's kind of in and out because I quit for 7 years here and there.
Right.
Sometimes I'd smoke a quarter of a pack and sometimes I'd smoke 2 packs. It depended. When I was depressed, I smoked 2 packs a day for like almost a year.
Right.
So those kinds of things, those change. But anyway, this is good news. The other thing is, I went to a doctor once who told me that because I smoked, he wanted to take a chest x-ray. So are chest x-rays reliable indicators of lung cancer, or is this CT the thing that you really need? Because the chest x-ray may show shadows or signs or masses, but it may not catch those little tiny nodules that would be the early detection.
And now you're in an area where I don't feel comfortable answering that question.
Okay. Denny, how about you?
Well,
Max?
experience-wise, as far as Jack, he had a lung x-ray probably 2 years before he was diagnosed with stage 4 small cell lung cancer, and his lungs showed perfectly clear.
Yeah.
Wow, that's amazing. So that's a good thing to know, is that going to get a chest x-ray is not necessarily the solution to finding out whether or not you have lung cancer. Tell me a little bit about Jack and about what you guys experienced, because up to that point, you had a healthy, athletic
I mean, he was walking 4 miles every day, golfing, kayaking, everything. And he had he started getting this continual state of nausea. And it went on and on and on. So I said, we are going to the doctors. Went to the doctors. They did a blood test. Initially, they thought it was the medication, combination of the medicine he was taking.
Right.
And in the meantime, they did a blood test, called us on the way home and asked him to go straight over to the CT lab because the blood test showed a low level of sodium.
Wow.
Yeah, a real low, which was causing the nausea. And because of that low level of sodium was enough indication to the doctors or the people that read the CT scan for him to have who read the blood test, for him to have the CT scan, and then from there they detected the lung cancer.
And it was already at stage 4.
Already at stage 4.
Which is why you were talking about early detection, but how else could you have known?
I know. Well, and the x-ray wouldn't have done it. Had I known about the CT scan, the low dose, I would have insisted. He would have too. Yeah. Simply because he would have met, he would not have met the requirements, because I think you have to have smoked or quit smoking in the last 15 years. Is that right?
Yeah.
And he quit smoking in 1991.
Oh boy. Well, I quit smoking 3 years ago, so I'm still in that, and I don't want to. That's the best part. Is that all of a sudden, just one day, I thought, this is enough. This is ridiculous.
Yeah.
I'm spending $5-6 on packs of cigarettes every single day, and I smell terrible, and I feel terrible, and I'm coughing up a lung, and I can't do anything without, it just was. So I just stopped, and not everybody can do that.
Right.
But I'm hitting the 3-year mark here, so I feel like something that I've done has been good,
definitely.
Do you have stop smoking, or cessation programs available through the American Lung Association?
Absolutely, absolutely. And so, I brought prizes for you, and you just earned one of them.
I did. Thank you
Congratulations on stopping smoking.
A pin.
Yay! For stopping smoking,
It
that's
looks like
perfect.
it looks like a little tornado or a little wave. How perfect for me.
So let me tell you just a little bit about that little tornado or wave, as you called it. So,
That's probably not what it is at all.
well, that's all right. It
I
doesn't
just made
matter. It was a good description. And so, the pin that we gave
There
to
it
you
is.
and that
I
I'm
have it
wearing
here.
and that Denny is wearing is a symbol for our Lung Force campaign.
Okay.
This breath of air,
Oh,
this
that's
turquoise
beautiful.
breath of air,
It's on the
is
sign,
the symbol
too.
for the Lung Force campaign.
Yeah.
And so, there's your first prize.
Okay, good. What do I have to do to get a second prize? I like prizes.
Well, they're surprises, so I can't tell you.
Motivated, like Max is for treats. I am for prizes.
I'm
Bob Monroe is watching. Bunny Zeller from the Animal Care Society, who
Oh,
we
good.
love very much, is tuning in. So thank you for that, Bunny. I'm going to be doing their Bark in the Park. Do you ever go to that?
I did years
I love
ago.
It.
I need
you
to do
should
that
come.
again.
It's so much fun. It's in September, and she'll probably send me the dates, but it's at the end of September, and it's over in Seneca on the Circle.
Right.
Yes.
And it's just a whole morning and afternoon of animal-related things. It starts with a bark walk and all just kind of fun stuff.
fun.
And
It's
then
really neat.
you've got a lot of vendors who support the animal, industry in our city, and that's billions of dollars worldwide.
Right.
And so it's a great organization, and I love the fact that she's watching. And everybody in this town pulls together for everybody else. I mean,
Yes.
here we are cross-talking
Yes.
therapy dogs
Right.
and lung cancer, and my desire to have prizes awarded for everything that I do. It's kind of like when Max goes poopy outside, and you say, "Good boy,
Yeah.
Tara, here's your prize, good girl." I don't go poopy outside, but that's okay.
Well, I'm thankful
Oh,
for
you get
that.
another prize.
Oh, that's right. That's awesome.
Oh, that's
American Lung
great.
Association. You know what's really funny? This was one of the very first fundraisers I did when I came to Louisville.
Really?
And I don't remember what it was. It wasn't called Lung Force, obviously, but and I've got pictures of myself, and I'll have to look those up because it was like 1983 or 4.
Wow.
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah.
I was wearing a crown and banner at that time.
Well, of course you were.
Well, no, because she was in you were in what contest?
Scholarship program,
Scholar. Okay.
not a beauty pageant.
Okay, scholarship.
I see.
It was the Miss Kentucky, which goes to Miss America.
Yeah.
And I was Miss Louisville.
How exciting.
Isn't that fun? I was also Miss Fairdale, for those of you who don't know. And in Oregon, let me just tell you, I was Miss Beaverton. Don't laugh at me, Denny. It's a wonderful
Miss
city.
Beaverton.
It's the home of Nike. And
Is
the home
it? Oh,
of
I didn't know that.
Tektronix and Intel.
Oh.
It's a wonderful
Hey, that's
city to
impressive.
I just meant
That
that
is
is
I
impressive.
tell you, these people.
I should not have laughed. I am sorry.
So anyway, back to the conversation. You
I
were
was
going
going
to
to add
else
something
smart.
when I was. This is a nice one. When I was teaching, I had people from the Animal Care Society bring dogs in
Awesome.
and share with my kids, my
Awesome.
students, and that was real. I loved it every year.
Where
they
did
would
you
come
teach?
in. I ended up at Myers Middle.
So what
which is
grades?
Eighth grade.
8th grade, okay.
Language arts.
Very cool. I can see you being a great teacher.
Yeah. Oh, thank you.
Very loving personality.
Thank you.
Look at
Absolutely.
that smile,
Oh,
Shannon.
Absolutely.
So,
Can you share about? I'm sorry.
No, you
I wanted to
interview
talk
her.
about
Go ahead, I'll just
Kathy.
relax.
I wanted her to share about Kathy about doing that fight for air climb. Wasn't that like 6 months after she had had her surgery?
Oh, you know what? I don't know this story of
Yeah.
how
And you
recent
tell
yeah.
the story
it
about you
was.
doing the fight for air climb because
Well-
it was quite amazing.
Yeah, it's
Actually.
it's wonderful. In February, the first Saturday of February, right?
Yes.
First Saturday of February, the Lung Association has the Fight for Air climb, and we climb 38 stories of the Capitol City building, or that now they call it what?
It's a PNC building,
PNC
right?
building, yeah, PNC building. And we practice every Saturday. Tara, you need to do that.
I'll do it with you.
Do it
Now
next
that I
year. Oh,
don't smoke
good.
anymore, I can
Yeah,
climb 8 flights of
yeah.
stairs.
We start practices in November, and we meet every Saturday at the not at the Hyatt,
Downtown
at
Hyatt,
the Hyatt,
right?
yeah, the downtown
Good.
Hyatt.
Yeah.
We do the inside staircase, and it's 19 stories. So we
Wow.
just practice.
So you do it twice.
No. I got up to 7 times. I was doing it 7
That's
just for
amazing.
training. But you
Yeah.
can do it. You'll do it, as you go
Yeah.
along. But anyway, Kathy, 6 months after she had, I think she had part of her lung removed.
Right.
Does that sound right?
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, and so she participated in it.
Went right in there.
6 months later, she
Isn't
did the Fight for Air climb. It's
just
a great
incredible.
fundraiser, and it's a wonderful. And in fact, that's how I found out about the Lung Association. After Jack died, of course, but I was reading Kirby Adams' column,
Oh, yeah.
and she had something about the Fight for Air climb, and I thought, that would really be neat to do. So I signed up for it, and the rest is history.
That's pretty
You know?
amazing. When
It
you
is
stop to
pretty
think about it.
amazing.
So the Fight for Air climb is one thing, but I understand there is a big gala coming up.
Right, Derby
Yes.
Eve Gala.
Okay, so
at the
talk to me a little
Seelbach.
bit about that, because that sounds very exciting.
It's elegant and it's beautiful. The Fight for Air stair climb is an extreme athletic event, and it can be even more extreme than what Denny described. We can get back to that if you like.
Did
Yeah.
he do it?
No.
He's
No.
the obvious extreme
Yeah.
athlete.
That's true.
Simmer down, Matt. Simmer
For those
down.
of you who just have been tuning in, my name is Tara Bassett, and this is Take It From Tara. And you are watching us on our Facebook live cast. Max is lying at our feet. He's a fabulous therapy dog certified by Therapy Dogs International. So he can go anywhere in the world and bring his special brand of hope and love to all of the folks who he visits in nursing homes and hospitals and any place else that his mom, Denny Hovious, wants to take it. Denny is in the blue, and the reason she's here not only to show off Max, but because her husband Jack passed away from lung cancer. She got very involved with the American Lung Association, and that's why Shannon Baker has joined us, because we're talking about Lung Force and the wonderful Derby Eve Gala that we're about to describe. So it's a big round wrap up, Take It From Tara, where nothing is out of the range. Everything goes, is what they say. And at 5 o'clock, Jessica Loving's going to join us. She's been a Politico, a fundraiser, a PR expert for many, many years in Louisville and across Kentucky, actually. She knows everybody and everybody knows her, but if you haven't had the pleasure, then please stay tuned. And even if you have had the pleasure, then you'll know why it's so great to have her on the show. So Jessica's going to be here about 5 o'clock. But in the meantime, we have Denny and Shannon and Max, the wonder dog, down here under my foot. And I just keep wanting to reach down
I
and
know.
stroke his soft ears. He's a golden doodle, right?
Golden
But
doodle.
he's a giant golden doodle.
Uh-huh.
He's one of the largest golden doodles I think I've ever seen.
Is he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, because we
I
have a
have seen
therapy
one.
dog at Bridgehaven, Sawyer.
Oh yeah, I
who's
saw
like,
Sawyer.
this
Little,
big.
yeah. I think he's a mini doodle.
Well, actually, what happened was Daddy crawled underneath the fence.
Oh.
She was supposed to be a comfort retriever.
Uh-huh.
And she's not.
She's not.
Daddy
She's
was a doodle, Mama was a comfort retriever, and they produced Sawyer,
Got it.
who is adorable and very
He's
tiny.
precious,
So
yeah.
everybody thinks she's a doodle. But anyway, back to this conversation about the gala.
Yes.
It is going to be, I think, one of the toughest tickets in town. Are you sold out?
Not yet, but
Okay.
we're getting close.
All right, what does it cost us to
go? It's $300 per ticket.
Okay.
$3,000 per table.
10 seats?
So yes. So you can have your company table, you could have a family table, or you could just join me and Denny at the Derby Eve Gala.
Lovely.
Yes.
Do you have a date?
I didn't know I was going.
I thought Max was going. Are you not taking Max with you?
Well, of course.
What's wrong with you?
Or you could be my date.
Okay, I'll be your date.
I just assume
What,
you're
red
going
chocolate?
because
Oh.
every time I go somewhere, you know her.
Okay, I'm just sitting here watching the show, having a conversation. What are you going to wear, Denny? I don't know, Kathy. What are you going to wear? Kathy, why don't you weigh in on what you're going to wear? We have fun. That's what this show is all about, is having fun. So, by the way, we want to thank our wonderful guests as well as our host. O'Shea's is where we are on Baxter Avenue. Have you ever seen such a beautiful patio?
Oh, it's so neat.
gorgeous.
Look
Yeah.
behind you. St. Francis is in the...
Yeah, I didn't notice
St.
that.
Francis
Yeah.
of Assisi with the birds
Yeah.
is in the garden, and we have the classic
building.
cocktail and craft bar. The sun is perfectly setting right behind this building, so it's not in our eyes yet. Hopefully not. And you can see the beautiful fountain outdoors, O'Shea's Irish Pub. Gosh, it was established a year before I was born. That's pretty amazing. That was like 1947. So 1958. So
58.
it's very exciting that we can go to places like this, and I can be live and on location and
Yeah.
mobile to do Take It From Tara. And today, of course, is Waggin Wednesday, presented by Puppy Pack Adventures. And you can go online to puppypackadventures.com and hear the wonderful podcast with a lesson learned that is done by Mommy Tara, Brady Raymond, Gracie Lou, and Wyatt Gunford. The Puppy Pack. Puppypackadventures.com.
Nice.
They're 5-minute podcasts. You won't get bored, I promise. So, thanks again to O'Shea's for having us here today. Tell me about the Derby Eve Gala. What are we going to do when we get there after we've chosen the clothing and all that stuff?
So, the Derby Eve Gala is at the CL Bach. Every year it is a elegant, beautiful, but extremely fun event. It's themed. This year's theme is the magic of Motown.
Oh, nice.
Oh,
Yeah.
fun. Oh,
Nice.
fun.
Just wait till you see my outfit.
Oh my gosh. How
Donna
fun.
Summer.
So not.
Michael Jackson.
Much closer.
Oh, we're getting closer.
Oh,
Okay.
neat.
That's so cool.
And there's an amazing band called Burning Las Vegas. Do you know them?
I do.
They're wonderful. We love having them year after year.
All
People
Motown covered
just
music, right?
Absolutely.
They're going to do
People
some Motown
yes,
covers. Yeah.
absolutely. And people will be up dancing and having a ball and a lovely dinner. And so
Do you have speakers at this event?
we will have
Okay.
speakers at the event. And so while I don't know the exact lineup, it's always mission oriented at every one of our events. So there is a mission moment at a minimum at every event
A mission moment.
where we talk about why we do all of the things that we do and the importance of our mission to save lives by preventing lung disease and promoting healthy lungs in our community.
So who will be speaking to get this mission moment across? Do we have a name or is it a secret?
And so it's a secret because I don't know the answer.
So you get the prize.
So
I'll
yes.
give you back this pen.
Oh, sorry. All right.
Give me that pen. I won it fair and square for quitting smoking 3 years ago.
You
so
did.
it's a secret speaker, so we'll find out more about it when you know the answer.
Exactly
We'll
right.
publicize it.
Exactly right. It is
Excellent.
publicized. It is on the website. So please just go look at that website.
Lord.
Don't know the name.
AmericanLungAssociation.org
I think it
Or
would be
lung.org?
or is it lung.org?
lung.org.
It's lung.org.
Same place that I already was.
And so, but as you look,
You can do
Can I
anything
just
you want.
share?
This is your hour. You have a half an hour. You have 28 minutes left.
I'm going to
say
try to
whatever you
behave
want.
after this. But
Tell them about the
don't
other
have to.
events. Is that what you're going to
About
tell
what?
About the other events?
yes.
The walk and the
So,
bike?
so we do a total of 5 fundraisers, maybe 6 depending on how you count it, annually. And so you've heard about the climb, the Derby Eve Gala, and the next event that's coming up is part of the Lung Force campaign. And it's called Lung Force Walk Louisville. It's on June 1st, for the first time ever, a Friday evening
That's
event
good.
instead of Saturday morning.
That's
So it's at the Louisville Water Tower. We'll open our packet pickup at 5:30 p.m. after work. And it's kind of leveraging that traffic pattern home out of downtown right by the water tower. You can
Cool.
drop in. We have 3 different routes to walk, 1, 2, and 3 miles to choose from.
Nice.
We have what we call Mission Village, where you can pick up information about caring for someone with lung disease or about the various smoking cessation programs that we offer. All of that's available in Mission Village, but this year, for the first time, we are doing a private after party.
An after party.
Very fun.
All your Motown outfits.
So no, we've gone Celtic for this.
Oh, that's right. You know what? I think we should ask O'Shea's if they'll do something to participate.
Oh, what a great
Oh, that's
idea.
I think
yeah,
so, too.
especially Celtic.
I have
That
all
would be
kinds of great
awesome.
ideas. See, my name is Tara.
Yeah.
You can't get.
Oh!
I get it on Thursday.
You earned that one.
This is
Yay.
awesome. That's a really nice. Thank you. I'm breaking mugs more regularly, so thank you for doing that.
Absolutely. And that one was for having a brilliant idea.
Thank
because
you.
what a brilliant
That
idea
is a
that
brilliant
was.
idea.
Thank you. So
I will never admit that it wasn't my idea. That's okay, because I got the mug and I'm not giving it back. So it does not say who the speaker is, but that's okay. It's the magic of Motown. Jill's. So Kindred Healthcare, whoever JLL is.
yes.
Brown Forman and Genentech, and those are the great sponsors, so thank you. But we're going back to the walk, the Celtic after party.
Yes. And so
So O'Shea's needs to be asked. We'll have to ask them after this broadcast if they would like to participate.
That's wonderful.
Okay.
And so we already know that we will have traditional music provided by Gilderoy Byrne.
Oh, cool.
The McClanahan Irish dancers will be there performing.
Oh, neat.
We have a turquoise cocktail donated by Heaven Hill Hypnotic. And the name of the cocktail is Air Force One.
Neat.
Apocalypse Craft Beer will be there.
Love Leah.
I love Leah.
She's awesome.
She's so kind and generous.
She is.
And so we will have food provided by someone at the tower. And we're shamelessly ripping off the Highland Games and
Okay.
calling them the High Lung Games.
Oh,
that's
cute.
cool.
Cute, I didn't know about
So there's
that.
something
didn't
for
know that
everyone.
No, I didn't know it either.
You are out of the
I should have
loop.
known.
You don't
it.
have an outfit for the derby.
I know. I mean,
Oh, and I
I'm
forgot
out
to
of it.
mention the Bristol. The
Will they
Bristol
be-
will
will
be
they
there too.
Will they be all in turquoise, the high lung games? Will those players be wearing turquoise?
Oh, I wish I had one more prize
Aw.
because it's such a cute thing that we've come up with, and I get to talk about it now because you asked. So, everyone who raises $100 or
Really
more.
didn't talk before the show. It's just the brilliance of my interview.
yeah, that's
skills.
it. True. I mean, really.
It's actually
you can
remarkable.
give me the cup back.
You get the cup
we
again.
go, okay.
And so, anyone who raises $100 or more has access to this wonderful Celtic themed after party. So
Nice.
there is a minimum fundraising goal that you have to meet. And so when you meet it, we will give you a real turquoise tartan.
Oh, wow.
And so you show up at packet pickup and you've raised $100. So
Yes.
it's a 6-inch square, a turquoise tartan. And it flips like a little kerchief, and you pin it to the inside of your shirt.
That's so cute.
It's just, the whole thing is such a fun idea.
I
And
love
that
that.
signifies that you have admission to the party.
Oh, how cute.
I'm going to get my little tartan.
Oh,
Yeah.
So, do you have experience in your lifetime with lung cancer? A friend, a family member, and yourself?
I just lost my father-in-law, my dear sweet father-in-law, to lung cancer, and I
Sorry for your loss.
thank you so much. And I have a special friend who struggles with lung disease, and it's a debilitating, degenerative lung disease. And so when I was interviewed by the American Lung Association in Kentucky just over 2 years ago, I said to them, you know, in my lifetime, first of all, I'm a recovered lobbyist who has
You'd have to be.
Yeah.
who was an accidental marketer after that.
Wow.
And now I work in development, and I have sold more widgets, countless widgets, more widgets than anyone should ever sell. But now I get to do something that matters,
Yeah.
something that is
Yeah.
important
Yes.
and feels good every single day.
Good.
Yeah,
I
I'm
love
blessed.
that.
I'm very lucky, and I get to meet people like Denny.
Well,
And you.
she's amazing. And Max.
And Max.
Max.
Of course.
How
And
good.
Max.
And Max, who is wearing the kerchief. Did you notice?
I saw that he's got his lung force kerchief on, which I absolutely love, and I think I love more than anything the fact that we've been able to gather to talk about some very important topics. Therapy animals are a huge part of our collective consciousness now, and Bridgehaven was one of the very first to use therapy animals in mental health.
Really? I didn't
And
know that.
Artie, who's Sawyer's mom,
Uh-huh.
had Aiden before Sawyer,
Uh-huh.
and had Tyler before Sawyer, and Scout was in there, but Scout bit somebody, so he was quickly retired.
Oh.
as a therapist.
Oh, dear.
So,
He was a lovely dog, but he was not going to be the therapy dog. But the 3 female dogs were perfect in every way.
Uh-huh.
And so, but when Tyler came in, there was a big article the Courier Journal did on Artie and the dog, and it was very, very early on when she thought, gosh, it would be great to bring animals in. And
Awesome.
the amazing results. I mean, now we have 2 therapy cats as well.
Yeah.
Harley and Quinn. And it took me at least 6 weeks to figure out Harley and Quinn. Do you get it?
Harley and Quinn.
Harlequin?
Yes.
Oh!
Do I get a prize?
Here you go.
You know your prize.
So sometime Denny's going to have to get a prize or she'll feel left out.
Yeah, this is my
So-
prize.
He is a prize.
And you all are
I'm
my
just-
prize,
And I'm just rubbing
being here
him
with you.
my foot. And
I
he's
know.
So at peace.
Oh.
But anyway, so therapy animals are so important to us. Shannon Liebgott just said, so important to be aware of lung cancer because, my God, we've got to be like right next to Mississippi in lung cancer deaths because, you know, we're on the bottom of the pile and everything else, you know, obesity and, you know, smoking and alcohol use, all this kind of stuff because we live in what they call a vice state.
Yeah, we have the highest lung cancer incidence rate and the highest death due to lung cancer incidence in the nation right here in Kentucky.
Do you think that people are aware of that, and do you think that there is a greater desire to quit smoking because they realize that they will actually raise the level of Kentucky's standing if they quit? I know that sounds like a kind of a convoluted question, but I quit because I realized, you know, I don't want to be part of that group of people that's keeping us down in the basement.
Right.
And so now I feel like I'm maybe helping to lift a little bit, you know, lift us from that 50th spot.
Yeah.
Or 54th if you count the District of Columbia and our 3 territories.
It's a beautiful, beautiful notion.
Yeah.
And I hope, now that you've said it out loud, more people will think about that. One more reason to quit smoking, you know?
Yeah.
So, in addition to our mission work that we've talked about, smoking cessation and things of that nature, the American Lung Association has a presence in Frankfurt.
Good.
And we work hard every year in our advocacy initiatives to do things like raise the tax on cigarettes.
Yes.
This year, 50 cents. It's something we had hoped for $1 because at $1 it makes a difference.
It is.
People stop smoking or they don't start smoking. It's cost prohibitive.
You feel like you're getting a bargain if it's 99 cents.
Right.
Which is why they used to call it the 99-cent store.
Yeah, right.
And then they started calling it the dollar store because it
store.
was a shorter marquee.
Yeah.
But the truth of the matter is that dollar makes an impact on people.
Right.
It does.
You know, and in New York, I used to go buy cigarettes when I traveled. In New York, it was $12 a pack 10 years ago.
Right. Oh my
Ridiculous.
gosh.
That's how addictive it is, that I would pay $12
Yes.
a pack
Yes.
every day that I was there.
And let no one tell you that e-cigarettes or hookah or any of that other stuff is less addictive or more healthful. It's just not true.
Well, I started with the e-cigarette thinking that would help me. I tried the patch one time, and it was making me feel bad, so I stopped taking it. And then I got the e-cigarette, and I thought, okay, well, let's give this a shot. And then I understood that I was actually still using nicotine, and I thought, well, what's the point?
Right.
So then I started using just the flavored e-cigs that don't have all the other stuff in them.
Right.
The vapor, so I guess they call them just vapor. And then all of a sudden it was just like, why am I doing it? Why am I spending more money when I'm trying to stop spending money? And why am I still inhaling stuff? Because more than anything, it's that oral fixation.
Oral fixation.
It's the hand, mouth, you know, drink the coffee, take the beer, smoke the cigarette, whatever.
I heard a pulmonologist very recently make such an interesting comment. If you light it on fire and put it in your mouth, it's not going to turn out well for you.
Probably a bad thing.
Yeah.
That makes
That's
sense.
good.
So Jerry Bloom has tuned in, Jerry Bloom himself, and Linda Adkins, thank you for watching with us. We appreciate it. So when you get to a point that Jack reached, which immediately discovering it at stage 4, first time you had any idea that he was sick,
Right.
was there any kind of process that he could have gone through that would have changed the outcome of his death?
No.
Nothing. That was it.
That was it. He went through chemo. He went through 6 rounds of chemo, and he went through 5 weeks of radiation.
Wow.
And between the radiation, the chemo, the cigarette smoking, the lung cancer, they called it interstitial pneumonitis. It just did a number on his lungs, and he couldn't breathe anymore.
How long did he smoke?
Oh, goodness. Like he said, he grew up in Kentucky.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I think he said maybe 12, 13.
Wow.
He grew up, quote unquote, in Kentucky.
Yeah, and the tobacco farming here, you know, is also something that is a norm. You know, I mean, it's completely normal to smoke when you grow up here. Did you ever smoke?
Yes.
Did you?
For 7 years.
Is that
and
all?
Yeah,
Your
when
entire
I went
life?
to college, yeah,
Oh,
that was
well,
it.
for God's
And I
sake,
quit
Denny.
smoking.
That
My
doesn't
twin
count.
sister was pregnant, and she told me I needed to quit smoking because she was smoking, and she quit smoking when she got pregnant.
And you
And I
did.
said, well, yeah, I guess I should. So I quit smoking. That was in like 75, I think, 1975. And then after she had her baby, she started smoking again, but she has since quit. She didn't smoke
Good.
too much longer
Well, it
after
seems
that.
like 7 years for that period of time would not have that much of a deleterious effect on you, but I guess you really don't know.
You don't know.
Right.
Because
You
Dana
don't know.
Reeves, again, never smoked a cigarette in her life.
Right.
Right.
Tell me about some of the different types of lung cancer that if you know, if you don't want to answer this, you don't have to, but names of lung cancers that people might recognize. Because you just said interstitial.
Well, interstitial pneumonitis, but that's not the lung cancer. That's
Okay.
just a term, from what I gather, that they place on the cause of death.
So it's like an arthritis disease, okay? So you've got this huge umbrella of arthritis over 122 or something separate diseases.
Really?
You've got ankylosing spondylitis. Any idea what that means?
No.
Neither do I. But I did know it at once because I used to do the arthritis telethon. So this is why I know these completely useless
Yeah.
and random facts. But you know, you've got a different type of arthritis. You've got the one that Raynaud's phenomenon, where your finger turns white in the winter.
Oh,
That's
right.
a type of arthritis.
Yeah, I didn't know that was arthritis.
I have
You
that.
have that, see? So then you've got, you know, the spinal stenosis, which is an arthritis
I have
disease.
that.
And you've got the crepitus in your big toes, which is an arthritis disease. And so there are a million
didn't
different
realize that.
arthritis diseases under the umbrella of arthritis. And I was just curious as to whether or not lung cancer was just that singular thing, or whether there were a bunch of different types of diseases that fell under the name of lung cancer.
And so again, I'll say to you,
Don't ask the stupid question, Tara. Stupid question, Shannon.
that's not what I was going to
Stupid
say
question.
to you.
I can't believe you'd ask me. So anyway, back to this. A moment for a political break. Anyway, so if you call it lung cancer, and you start out with a symptom like coughing, or you start having something horrible like you are coughing up blood, or you have that constant feeling of an upper respiratory infection that you just can't shake.
Right.
I would imagine that anybody who had symptoms like that would probably want to see a doctor. Do you just go to your primary care physician for that, or do you have to go to a specialist immediately? What did you guys do, Denny?
We went to primary care, and then they sent us to a pulmonologist. Or well, actually, he was admitted into the hospital, and then the pulmonologist came in.
Wow.
And when you were asking about the types of cancer,
Yeah.
I don't know if this really answers your question, but there's the small cell cancer, lung cancer, and the non-small cell. And the small cell lung cancer is what Jack had, and that's the quick, fast-growing cancer. And the non-small cell, I gather that Kathy and the people that had never smoked, I think that's what they had. And the probability of survival, from what I've read, is much, much higher with a non-small cell.
Okay. So Maureen O'Keefe says that is not a stupid question. Maureen
And it
just
wasn't.
watched the news last night, obviously. Michael Johnson is watching. Thank you. And I just posted this. Please share this to your pages. It would be so great if you could get the word out about this fabulous Lung Force gala that's happening on Derby Eve. The American Lung Association is hosting it. And where's it going to be?
The Sealbach.
Oh, that's right. You said that. The Sealbach, what a beautiful venue for an event like this. And it's black tie,
It
I'm
is.
imagining. So all of the women are going to be racing to the stores or just ordering them on Amazon. It depends.
That Magic of Motown theme.
Yeah, it's going to be so much fun. So get into your spandex and your glittery wigs
my.
and all the different things. Look like Gloria Gaynor. If you can do that, you will be well dressed. Now, would you like the folks who are attending this event to dress in clothing that is representative of the magic of Motown?
Yes, absolutely.
So you don't have to necessarily be black tie.
It's
gotta
always
be dressy.
a formal,
Yes.
dressy-ish event.
So don't
but
come
it's
in a
themed.
Halloween costume.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
No.
Yeah.
That's a different event.
Yeah. Exactly.
Tell her what that
So
one is.
Tell her what that is. Shannon.
There's so many neat
interview.
events with
We've
the,
got plenty of time too, so
With
you
Lung
can just let's see.
Force.
We got 11 minutes left, and I'm thinking that Jessica's probably going to be here shortly to save me from these two. Max and I don't know what to do. It's just terrible.
I think Max knows.
Max knows. I think I'm going to lie down there next to you, buddy. No, go ahead. Tell us about the clothing.
So in October, we have another celebration.
Yeah.
And so I'm probably going to get in a lot of trouble for saying this because it is my boss's event, and you know how she is. No, she's wonderful. Dina Adams. She's wonderful, and I love her.
Nice to meet you.
And so, but anyway, I tend to say it's an adult Halloween party. It's another themed event, but you know, it's always fun and not as elegant as the Derby Eve Gala. Just a lot of fun, but it too is themed, and so we
that's
show
the
up
time
in
for the Michael Jackson spandex.
There you go.
Okay. The adult themed Halloween party. That could get you into a whole lot of trouble if you go there with Shannon and Denny. Okay, so we also want to say hi to Sherry Humphreys-Reese, who is a wonderful friend of mine of many years, and she herself has been dealing with cancer and treatments, and she's doing a marvelous job. As a matter of fact, I don't know how it happened, but I was walking in here, and I don't know whether I butt dialed her or she was actually trying to call me, but all of a sudden she popped up on my phone, and I was talking to Verizon support about something, and all of a sudden she was there, and she's like, "Hi Tara, it's Sherry, so I'm going to call you back after the show. I promise." But, and you know, so many people in our lives are being affected. I know a friend who's dealt with our friend Sue Knable, who goes to church with us at St. Francis of Rome. 2 different types of cancer, and done remarkably well. But you know, each time it's come back, it's like we take a collective breath in.
Yes.
In hopes that it will be able to be dealt with.
Yes.
You know, and she's remarkable. Her attitude, her sunny disposition, you know, everything, and I think that's what you need. So the next thing is, does the Lung Association have services or groups or support or something that folks can get involved in? Or do you direct people to those types of support networks? Like, for instance, you know, Gilda's Club takes care of folks whose family members have dealt with cancer.
Yes.
So what does the Lung Association do, if anything?
And so if you go to lung.org, you will see a number of different opportunities depending on what type of help you're looking for. And so we talked about smoking cessation, and we have support for caregivers. We have an 800 number you can call and talk to experts about whatever particular issue you need to gather more information on. It's all available there, readily accessible 24/7.
What is the primary function then of the ALA? Are you providing fundraising for research?
So our fundraising is specifically aimed at research, at education, the kinds of programs we've been talking about, and advocacy work. Our presence in Frankfurt, for example, but elsewhere as well, of course.
So tell me, well, first of all, I want to know, what did you lobby for when you were a lobbyist in Frankfurt?
I was not a lobbyist in Frankfurt.
Oh, you weren't?
I was a nationwide lobbyist for the Burger King brand.
Oh my gosh, isn't that amazing? The Creepy King.
That explains everything you need to know about me, the Creepy King.
Right. That's one of the fast food restaurants I never have really understood. The Creepy King.
Well,
I liked the little girl with the red pigtails. Go there quite a bit. You know, that's my favorite place. That's the Wendy's brand. And then Arby's is just like some sort of big, it looks like the Golden Arches, but it's not.
I see.
A big hat of a cowboy hat. I don't know what it is. But anyway, I like that.
But the Creepy King.
Creepy King, not so much.
So,
no offense to anybody.
Long ago in my misspent youth,
you were a lobbyist for Burger King.
That's it.
Okay, so what did you do besides teach, Denny? Did you start out in a career prior to teaching?
No.
Did you take on a career after teaching that is better than this?
Nope.
This is it.
This is it. After I retired from teaching, which was in 2003, and I just got into volunteering, and that's what I do.
So how many hours a week does Max work?
Probably, some weeks he may visit 3 days.
Oh my gosh.
But I'd say most of the time it's 1 day a week.
Okay.
As he's getting older. because
Well, he's 11.
yeah, and I
big
can't
dogs
take him.
have to, get their rest.
Yeah.
Well, he should be rested up enough.
He's
now
definitely
to go back to
rested
work.
up.
And my Brady is about the same age as Max, and I'm starting to notice that little bit of slowing down. And I ordered a ramp so he could get back up into the SUV because he's having a harder time jumping up.
Right.
And he made it up there once with a lot of chicken
I know.
offered, but the second time he slipped. So he
So-
crashed down on the ramp and then he wouldn't go up again.
Oh.
So I just threw the ramp back in the box and sent it back, and so we're going to try another
Oh,
process.
Tara.
But
Yeah.
and this is unfortunately part of the dogs' lives. That we just can't have them with us all of our lives.
Well, Max sleeps with me every night, and I was telling Shannon earlier, he can't get up in bed anymore because it's too high.
Right.
So Sunday morning I woke up and he was standing right there, and I'm laying on my side, and that sad little face like, Mommy, I can't believe I can't sleep with you. So I went out that day, I got plywood, I took out the box springs, I put the mattress down. Now it's maybe about this high.
That's a great idea.
Yeah, and now he can sleep with me. I thought, I've got to sleep with him.
Well, I've just been boosting Brady's butt up on the bed.
Well, I do that. I boost his butt up, but coming down. That's where he has
that's the hard
problems
part.
getting off the bed.
And then I've got Gracie on the other side, and Wyatt guards the door. That's his job. He is the guarder of the door.
Aw.
So I hope, look around here and see if I see her. I don't see her. I hope Jessica knows to ask the people who are here at O'Shea's, which is a wonderful place, and that's why we're here. I hope they will tell her that we're back here. So, in the meantime, just in case they don't tell her that we're back here, I'm going to get up and take this mic off and walk away for a minute and go inside. And I'm going to give you the opportunity to round up all of the things that we've talked about, talk about Lung Force, talk about Denny and her turquoise, and the outfits that you guys are going to wear to the event when you go together. And I will be right back. I know, it's a lot to talk about, ladies, but I know you can do
Well,
it.
I know something that you
stay
can
there.
start with.
Okay.
Now say something about the bike that you organize.
Okay.
Shannon organizes the bike trek, I guess you would call it.
Well, so we talked earlier about the 5, maybe 6, depending on how you count it, events that the American Lung Association in Kentucky does. I remember a Saturday ride, and we have always been Sunday, and that's kind of a barrier because people can stay after the ride for dinner and or spend the night if they choose, but with work on Monday, that was kind of hard for a lot of people. Now that we've moved to General Butler State Park, we are able to be on Saturday. And so that barrier is gone.
Wonderful.
It's exciting. And we have 3 routes now. That's is Hillacious Country. And so instead of offering a Century as one of our 3 different route opportunities, we added a short route.
Okay.
Because of those grueling hills, we have a 25, a 35, and a metric century this year.
And is it 25? Is it real hilly?
It's all hilly in that
hilly.
part of the country. Now, there's absolutely no reason why you can't stop and enjoy your rest stop, why you can't take a break. There's no shame in walking a hill if you need to, and we will have folks that do all of those things, and that's fine. It's not a race, it's not intended to be. And so you do your ride, you come back to General Butler, and you join us for the Bites Beer and Bourbon Big Bash.
Yeah, oh, that sounds
Fall
so
Harvest Cookout under the stars. We will have a signature bourbon drink. We will have Monarch Beer Company there, our craft beer sponsor for Bike the Bluegrass. And then after dinner, you can choose to spend the night in General Butler State Park. So there are 3 ways to participate.
Neat.
You can ride only, you can ride and stay for dinner, but we hope that you ride, stay for dinner, and spend the night. And that's all at bitethebluegrass.org.
Yeah, wonderful.
That's fantastic. All right, I had to show Max a little bit closer up there.
Oh, show that pretty
Oh,
face.
he raised his head for the occasion,
Yeah,
though.
and he's
Yeah.
wagging his
Now
tail
I'm gonna come back
too.
and plug on my own microphone and say, and Jessica did text me on my own phone and said, "See you at O'Shea's." So I said, "We're out on the patio. Come on out." So hopefully she will find us out here on the patio. The most important thing that I would like to get across from what you just taught us today is that obviously, if you are smoking now, the message from the American American Lung Association is quit.
Please.
So many different ways to do that. And, you know, there are ways that you can't even imagine because people come up with all kinds of things. One less cigarette a day, you know, flip the coin, whether you smoke or not, cut it down from 1 pack to 2 packs or 2 packs to 1 pack, whatever you want to do. Go 2 packs one day, 1 pack the next. It doesn't matter how you do it, just do it. And I just was fortunate that, you know, my higher power enabled me to just stop and not start again. Because it's easy to quit. It's not so easy to stop, you know, to start again. You've got to not start smoking after you quit smoking.
Right.
So we're not trying to tell anybody what to do, and you've got the right to make your own decisions. And if you want to keep, you know, sucking that stuff into your lungs for the rest of your life, go for it, because your life's not going to be very long if you continue to do those things. So we're just grateful to Denny and to Max for providing great therapy support, and I imagine that some of the people that you visit are people who have lung cancer.
Oh, yeah. Oh, definitely.
Quite a few of them,
Yeah,
I imagine.
I remember this one man that was in palliative care at Baptist, and he had lung cancer. And he told me all about his cancer while Max was up in bed with him. And the only time he cried is when he told me that he didn't know what he was going to do with his German Shepherd. And the wild thing about it is the next month when I came in there, I ran into a lady in the lobby that just stopped to look at Max. We started talking, and one conversation led to the next, and she had adopted this dog. And just, I mean, just circumstantial how it came about.
Gosh, that's
Isn't that
amazing.
neat?
So the night of 1,000 billion stars will be at the American Lung Association Derby Eve Gala, and tickets are $300. They haven't sold out yet, but they're on the way. You can buy a table for 3,010 seats, and you can certainly get out there and boogie with the Motown magic that's going to be taking place. I am really very grateful to you guys for coming in. So thank you. Shannon Baker, Denny Hovious, and Wonder Dog Max. And we're going to just take a couple quick seconds to reset because we're live on the air. Jessica, don't even sit down, baby. I'm just going to kick these two right off the set and bring you in.
I didn't bring anything quite as attractive.
You're going to have to wait until Max gets up.
Max, it's time to go.
Max says, but I don't want to leave. I don't want to leave, Mommy. No, I don't want to get up and go. Look at that little tail. No, it's on. That's why I said we're... No, you're... Yeah, definitely don't do that. But
Hi, Max.
you
Can you get up so
Can
I
you
can
get up?
pet you? Come on, come.
Can you see him?
No.
Yes. Oh, he just put his head back down on
He's
my
just so
foot.
happy
He's
there.
so happy. He loves his Aunt Tara. Yes, he does.
Doodle and
Look at the tail.
Doodle and golden retriever.
Oh gosh, isn't he gorgeous?
Nice combination.
He's a good boy. Well, you know
I
what? You
think
just
you have
leave
a
him here.
friend.
I'll bring him home.
You just work around him.
Max, honey, I don't like to let you
Do you
go.
have a home?
I don't think he does.
You want to go with us? I'll
I
take
think
you.
he wants to just stay here. He just wants to stay here. He's afraid he's going to try to tickle him and love him. For those of you who are wondering, Max is a therapy dog, and he was certified by Therapy Dogs International. And he does amazing things. He goes to hospitals and nursing homes, and he visits people.
He's obviously very calm.
And he's very calm, and nothing phases him. And his mom is Denny Hovious, and we've been talking with Denny and Shannon Baker from the American Lung Association for the last hour, because Denny also works with the ALA because of her husband's lung cancer, which prematurely took his life. And she's gotten into visiting people and Max giving a lot of love to people who have different problems that have put them in the hospital or nursing homes. And so they're all doing a tremendous job, and Shannon Baker doing a great job working for the American Lung Association, and she's going to invite you to go to lung.org to find out more about how you can participate and learn about lung cancer and about the wonderful event that's going to be taking place on Thursday. We'll find out more about it. Okay, Max, you gotta go, bud. Let's go. No, I don't want to. Look at him go. No, he says no.
Let's go, Max.
No, I don't want to go, Mommy.
I know you don't.
I don't want to go, Mommy. I'm having so much fun.
Let's go.
You know what they say on television? Don't ever play with kids or dogs because they were going to show you up every time.
WC Field. Don't perform.
That's
with
what
kids
it
and
is.
us.
I love you so much. She's like, okay, bye-bye.
Let's
Bye-bye.
go. Come on, Max.
Maybe I should get up and walk over here and maybe, whoops, maybe he'll come with me.
It's not embarrassing.
Come on. He loves you. Come on. Yeah, dear.
All right, Jackie.